Hello guys, and welcome to a new Steel Division 2 video today by me, Vulcan. In this video I have for you game 3 of a best of 3 between Nilla and Shaun in the Season 2 playoffs of the Steel Division League. In this one they are playing on Slutsk East, and both players have decided to play on the Allied side. So on our left, in the red team, we have Nilla using the 15th Infantry Scots and the flatline deployment type. And on our right, in the blue team, we have Shaun using the 26th Guards Rifles and the balanced deployment type. The bans for this match are as follows. Shaun banned Nilla from playing the 84th Guards Rifles, the 1st Polish Infantry, the 3rd Guards Tank Corps, and the Polish Home Army. And Nilla banned Shaun from playing the 84th Guards Rifles, the 3rd Guards Tank Corps, the 1st Polish Infantry, and the 3rd Guards Mechanized. The difference there being the 3rd Guards Mech ban from Nilla and the Polish Home Army ban from Shaun. So that has left Shaun open to play the 26th Guards Rifles, and that's going to be a very, very scary precedent for Nilla to overcome because of the balanced deployment type that Shaun loves to play. The 26th can be extremely strong with that balanced deployment type. But I've never really seen a 15th Infantry flatline. So that could be something that brings Nilla a victory this time around. I'm not entirely sure what it's going to be like. I'm very, very used to playing with the 15th Infantry Scots on my stream in 4v4, and many of you who come along will know that because you guys vote for it so much. But yeah, let's have a look at some of the units going down. On the bottom side at the moment, just one unit of rifle. We'll probably come back to that. Towards the centre, we see a Churchill 5 at the start. Multiple units of rifles. Good to note that they are at 1-star veterancy, so that potentially they can be made 3-star with a leader and a commander. 2 snipers going to be following that up. On the top side, big amount of troops here. Going to be multiple units of rifles, 5 units of rifles there. Engineer leader with a commander, so there's the engineer leader commander combo, and the Churchill, or the Crocodile, was replaced by a Bofors at the moment. We see the sniper there at the start on the top side, another 5 units of rifles and an engineer leader. So yeah, it looks like Nilla's going to try and make all of these rifles 3-star veterancy and really use that to his advantage on the top side of the map. Going to be backing themselves up with Bofors. Anything else added in further down? Not that I can see. Let's jump over to Shaun's units. So on the top, with his 26th Guards Rifles, he has 2 units of Gvardia there, 3 units of Gvardia with the DPs, that's the extra machine gun squads. There's going to be 6 units of flamers, 2-man flamer units. And then he's got the VZ-VOD in there, which is the artillery leader, and the 45mm AT gun. Shaun never making it easy to look at his units. Then we have further down a Maxim, Sturmovniki Rocks. Those Sturmovniki Rocks can be very, very scary indeed. A really good close range infantry squad. Then there's going to be another Maxim, 45mm AT gun. He's got the commander in there as well as another leader, and the T-34E as well. Behind all of those, tons of Dushkas. That's going to be the Dushka trucks. That's basically his early game AA. Further down, we see the Ognemachiki 2-man flamer squads, 3 of those, and a Maxim. And then on the very bottom side, it's going to be a Saperi, Gvardia DP, and a Maxim. So both players going very, very light on the very bottom side of the map. I guess both are scared of the long-range tank engagement that can occur on Slutsk East. This area of the map is very, very open, and I think at the moment in this matchup, the 26th probably has an advantage because not only does it have better artillery, but it also has like KV-85s, and the Churchills will probably struggle to penetrate those from range. There is going to be a lot of forces heading towards this flag, and he does have, I think, a few infantry rifle squads heading towards the center. See how that matches up to Shaun. Shaun's just going to place a Maxim in the open on the bottom side. 45mm AT gun unloaded early from Shaun, looking for the snipes down the road. Very cheeky indeed. Nilla not going to let that happen. Unloads all of his rifles, going to run them forwards into position. All those 3-star rifles. Shaun can definitely see what's coming his way. Ognemachiki going to be bumping into all of those rifles there as well. Is Ognemachiki trying to get into position? Going to have to get their smoke down if they really want to win out in this engagement. Well, they did manage to unseat one of the rifles, but the other one's still happily sitting in heavy cover. That's going to be all of the flamers dead there. And a very easy flag capture for Nilla. Yak 9B coming in with its bombing strike. The early bofers from Nilla. Looks like it's going to pay off. Is it going to get the kill? 2-star veterancy does make it quite lethal. It is not going to go down. See the divided DP here, engaging the rifles, pushing forwards. Currently with the snipers backing this up at the 1,000-meter range. The rifles are definitely taking advantage of all of these troops, and Shaun's basically doing a runner. Ognemachiki here, not doing too much damage against the high veterancy rifles as well. It looks like Nilla has kind of prepared the 15th Infantry as an allied versus allied matchup division. Because I feel like normally rifles would lose out to things like Panzer Grenadiers and so on at range. But in this case, where Soviet divisions rely a lot on their sort of fast early game units like the Ognemachiki and the Sapari PPSH and stuff like that, the 10-man rifle squads, which are really, really cheap, can just overwhelm the small amount of numbers that the Soviets can put out. So yeah, he won the engagement here against the Flamers, he's won the engagement here against the Flamers, and it's opened up so much territory for Nilla early on, and Nilla's basically barely lost anything in comparison to Shaun so far. These Dushkas, questionable play from Shaun. I'm not convinced that even 7 of them will be effective enough to stop any form of airstrike from the 15th, especially since they use Typhoons, which are very fast. Vali DP still trying to engage the rifles, but Nilla's just on top of them. As soon as Shaun's tried to fall back, he ran out of cover for his Gavardia, and now the rifle's just relentlessly pushing up onto them. The 45mm engaging the Churchill 5, but the Churchill 5 is the variant with the 95mm HE gun. And that will get the job done if it finds a direct hit. The 45mm able to fall back in time. T-34E in the way of these rifles pushing forwards onto the open flag. And now Maxims arriving to cut them down in the open. Vivani DP also now moving up to this location. On the bottom side, Shaun's just chilling down there. Same with Nilla. 1 unit of rifles stopping Shaun's push into the bottom side. So all in on the town for more or less both players. A little bit of an engagement further down, but so many infantry squads pushing forwards here. The sniper really proving valuable here from Nilla, backing up the rifles as they continue to push forwards. Look at him go. Very cool. Gavali DP. Looks like the Dushkas. Is he going to bring them up to attack? Well, here we go. It's the ride of the Dushkas, boys. Can they pin down these squads in time? I very much doubt it. There's going to be a lot of dead Dushkas. And, yeah, Shaun realizes probably what he already knew. And is going to pull back with those. But he has kind of revealed his hand by showing those, I fear. And losing just a couple of them might completely make all of them useless to any form of air attack now. The only place that Dushkas are really useful against infantry is outside of the 750 meter range of the rifles, Bren guns in this case. Nilla going to bring down an off map. Oh, that could do so much damage to these trucks. You can see he's going to try and pull back some of his rifles just a little bit. He readjusts that strike. Yak 9B coming in with the bombing strike onto the rifles. Going to lead the way for the Saperi to come through. T-34E takes out one of the rifle squads on the road before they unload. So these T-34Es, looks like it might just be Shaun's salvation. But this is going to be a massive off-map strike. That is 203mm off-map. Does have a lot of rounds. Oh, it's just so perfect. It's going to hit these Gavardia DPs so well. And the Dushka. If it comes down in time. Oh, Shaun, I think, saw the first strike arrive and decided to start falling back immediately. So not really too much damage going to happen there. I thought that I would have more shells, but nope. So pretty slow off map apparently. T-34E happily just killing off rifles. Now one thing that the 15th really does struggle with is close range infantry AT. So these T-34Es are really big trouble for the rifles unless Nilla can get like AT guns up to help out, or Churchills. But the trouble is with Churchills is they're really very slow. So they're going to take pretty much all of phase A to get to the front line, as is seen by this crocodile that is slowly but surely moving up to assist the Churchill 5 in taking out the T-34E. Now, I do over-exaggerate when I say it's going to take all of phase A. It normally takes a couple minutes, but still, they are slow. And if a strong T-34E push comes through from Shaun, the reaction from Nilla will require at least a couple of minutes to actually be effective. So, Sapelli happily engaging rifles at close range with their TNT, but will struggle at the medium range. And in a town engagement, I mentioned before, medium range tends to win out over close range infantry. Well, most of these Dushkas now dead. Complete waste of points in my opinion. Vardy DP on the way to back this up. Still 2.5 minutes from phase B, which is where Shaun wants to be in order to get back into this game. Currently Nilla 14-10, pushing very, very hard with these rifles still. Nothing really to take care of the T-34 is just yet. As I say that, the 17-pounder now unloaded on the top of the hill with its gun at a very odd angle. Gonna look for the kill onto the second T-34E. Looks like meanwhile Nilla's just gonna try and take a wide berth. This is proving very hard for Shaun to push. The off-map can pretty much be continuously brought down here. If Nilla decides to use like a barrage, which he might have already done, then any infantry that constantly tries to push up onto this flag, even the tanks here, will get forced back. And that is not a good place for Shaun to be. The Churchill 5, this has proven invaluable for the long-range engagement. It's taken out the Maxims that are holding down these flags, and could probably kill off this Gavardia DP as well, which open up these 3 flags on the bottom side. And where Nilla already controls the top side flags now, not a place he wants to be. Now the 6-pounder on the main road here, managing to find the armor crack onto the T-34. Lovely stuff. Nilla's finally got his AT in position, and it's making things very, very difficult for Shaun on all sides of the map. Now the sniper getting involved. The Maxim does have the range to engage the sniper. Sniper's trying to kill off this Gavardia DP at the moment. Churchill 5 on its way down. IL-2, 37mm. This is what the 26th is all about. Looking for the kill onto the crocodile. Moves forwards with the T-34E to hold its engagement and front armor. And down it goes. Lovely kill from the IL-2. Can probably go for the kill onto the Churchill 5 as well. Doesn't want to go too far to the top side. The double Bofors up there that have been revealed previously. Oh, there goes an infantry squad before it unloads. That was a Gavardia DP, I think. Damn. Not good. Not good at all. The rifles holding strong, using their veterancy to their advantage. A 6-pounder now joining the fray. Going to be able to kill the T-34s that push up. That one going down. The Gavardia still pinned. Here comes the IL-2 once again. Oh, the T-34E gets the job done. There is a Bofors to back up the armor on the bottom side now. And a Spitfire on the way. Interesting to see the use of a Spitfire. I'm very much a fan of the Tempest just because they are so much faster and have more firepower. I don't think the Spitfire is going to catch the IL-2 in time. Well, maybe it does. Will it get the kill? It will. Spitfire gets the job done. What a beautiful aircraft the Spitfire is. So the rifles have managed to push forwards onto this flag. They are now fighting up against Strafniki though. And since we moved into Phase B, Shaun now has access to his Cherno reserves. But looking at Shaun's position on the top side of the map, it's actually quite dire right now. It really is. Because Nilla, if he can get to the edge of this hill with an AT gun, he can shut down most of Shaun's forces. And Shaun will have to rely on artillery. In this case, he's bringing in some off-map. But something like just 1 to 203mm would be really nice for just shutting down some of these 6-pounders so that he can get some armor up to support his infantry pushes. These Chernos just looking to take back the flag against the rifles. Nilla going to be bringing in more rifles as well. I guess the Spitfire is still looking for strafing runs. Doesn't really do too much. Doesn't have that much effectiveness as a strafing aircraft in Steel Division 2. Cherno is getting very, very close here. Do have to be careful. Don't want to be killed. Oh, that Cherno almost got killed before it unloaded, but now they have unloaded, the rifles will be overwhelmed. And that will be an easy kill there for those Chernos. Guardia still being strafed, but in heavy cover, quite happily going to continue to shoot the rifles that aren't. So now the 122mm off map, can it hit the mark? It's quite a lovely concentration of forces here to hit, but needs to be careful with where he places this because it is vulnerable to be strafed. And that's exactly what Nilla's doing. These Dushkas, I'm not sure they'll be enough to stop the Spitfire from coming around for a second run. And then the 122mm will go down. And these rifles, I think Shaun put the off-map here, but the rifles are just carrying on. Look at this, Nilla's just pushing all the way through. Shaun's going to have to do a runner with his commander, and if he loses his commander, he's in big, big trouble, and he probably will, because all Nilla has to do is unload a couple rifles here, jump in these buildings. As the combat try and retreat across the open, they'll just get killed so easily. So it looks like Shaun's lost his commander. And that is really, really bad news because it means that any infantry that Shaun had set up for the 3-star veterancy will no longer receive it. And, well, these Strafniki squads, no veterancy to be seen. So Shaun, he invested a lot of these Chernos into the bottom side to clean this out. Maybe just a little bit too many. Opened up the door for Nilla to push in the top side. And yeah, now he's left without a commander, 15-9. It's got a double tick, 9 minutes and 50 seconds until Shaun loses out this game. So now Shaun is making a desperation play on the bottom side. He's moving forwards with the Sapari and the Gavadi DP. He will of course bump into the rifles, which will be enough probably for Nilla to reinforce in time. He could just bring in like a Churchill 5 up onto this ridge and kill both of those very quickly and secure that bottom side objective. The off-map here probably didn't do too much. It doesn't look like it really got too many kills. And, well, the Crocodile has now moved up 150mm of frontal armor. Good luck, T-34. Especially at this range. The Crocodile's going to have the penetration to get through the T-34. Oh, although I guess the T-34 doesn't have line of sight yet. That was risky. Okay, Bofors coming in. Bofors going to try and stop the IL-2 coming in, sorry. The IL-2 actually managed to get the kill. That was clutch. Crocodile going down there. But the Crocodiles and the tanks are not the issue right now. It's really just the abundance of infantry and the infantry placement from Nilla. And the fact that he's here on this map is really, really rough for Shaun. Strafniki should beat rifles at this range, just because they surely have more submachine guns and rifles amongst them. But it's still a very, very rough position to be in. 14-10. Does manage to stop the double tick for now. T-34 still engaging all of these rifles at a distance. The Bofors maybe getting a little bit too far up there. Churchill 5, a new one on the field. That's going to help clean up the Chernos pushing across. Got a Cherno pushing in to help with this engagement, but these rifles standing strong. Oh, and would you look at that? It's a Churchill 5 on the high ground. Just as predicted. They're easily the best counter to just rip to shreds any squads that are trying a push like this. Without any form of like armor support, there's no way this would work. Like a KV-85 might be able to engage the Churchill 5 at a distance and stop that from basically shutting down the infantry, therefore allowing the Chernos to get on top of the rifles, but until like a bigger tank comes in to help that out, Shaun investing infantry onto this bottom side is kind of a waste. The OB-25s coming in onto the top side. These might be able to help with some of the infantry engagements, especially now that Nilla's moved up to the edge of the hill. Oh, the 6-pounder. Is it going to just clean up the T-34? One more shot. Oh, maybe another one. It's penetrating every shot. They must just be getting crits. I think it's because they're using the APCR rounds. Damn. That is one unlucky 6-pounder. That is not something I expected to see. Okay, so the Stemniki rocks being brought up. These are the 8-man squads with the 2 flamers. And Shaun's putting it right in the middle. He's basically trying to hold on to that flag. And that's going to reveal the rifles here, actually. So the Maxim and the 76mm gun can kill off the rifles in these buildings, which is nice. Ideally, I think Nilla would want these on return fire until his Churchill 5 can get up to clean up the infantry. But still sitting at the comfortable 14 to 10 Nilla. OB has managed to help clean up both AT guns here with that T-34E, and now the rifles on the edge also coming under fire. 2-inch carrier being used as close-range recon to try and find any infantry squads in these trees, but the Stemniki on the far side. So nice placement there of the Stemniki so they don't get revealed by any armor coming up. M15 arriving on the top side, another KV-1E. I think there was already a KV-1E here, but it got killed by the AT gun. Oh, sniper once again. This sniper has been invaluable to this push on the top side. Like, it's just killed another infantry squad there, but as these rifles came through, that sniper pinning down a lot of the squads was very, very helpful indeed. And the Stemniki, they're very easily going to kill the rifles at close range, but got to be very careful of the Churchill 5 and the Bofors hitting them from the other side. They're going to get pinned down. And that's going to be a secured tree line for Nilla. Well, unless the Stemniki don't get pinned down. I'm absolute heroes right now. Just using those flamers. Melting those squads. Lovely stuff. Look at that. This rifle squad with the Bren. Stemniki just shrugging it off. Stemniki on the bottom side. Die in vain in the open. 16-8 now in favor of Nilla. I think Nilla just did so much damage with his 3-star rifles in Phase A against the initial forces of Shaun. And that's really all he needed to like break down the balanced playstyle in the early game and give himself enough of an advantage to potentially take this game to a victory. But we'll have to wait and see. We got the Strafniki and Chernos coming in from Shaun. He is starting to try and make a bit of a push back, but the pure density of infantry here is pretty insane. And these disheartened units will not break through 3-star rifles. No way. No way at all. KV-1E trying to engage the Churchill 5 and the Bofors, but both of those starting to pin down that KV-1E quite nicely. The KV-1E really needs to finish off the Churchill 5 sooner than later. Oh, the second Bofors also getting involved now. Oh, looks like that KV-1E, it might actually die to the HE power. That wouldn't be good. Oh, Typhoon coming in with the rocket strike. Tried to get the kill onto the KV-1E, but of course the M15 in the way. 25-pounder actually now being used from Nilla. Looking to snipe the M15 with a HE shot. Or will unload the Strafniki early. That's going to be a real pain for Shaun. Alright, Gavardia on the way for Shaun now, bringing in a leader with those. Losing his commander has really made it tough for him to utilize leadership well. The Shaun though, if they were microed properly, they could definitely clean up these rifles. But at the moment, it looks like they might be killed off before they do too much. Nilla gonna attempt to maybe micro against those, but no, the Shaun with a double flamer, very, very strong indeed. Not gonna happen. This rifle pushing across in the open, overextending massively right now. If that rifle squad goes down, there's potential for Shaun to take 2 flags here, which would basically give Shaun enough to stop the double tick. The Churchill 5 being purchased on this bottom side has encouraged Nilla to make his own push back onto Shaun's infantry. And Shaun is quite simply holding the ground with the Cherno and a Shaun rocks. Gets 4 units of infantry. It could be bad news. How did that not get the kill? Oh, the Churchill was actually showing frontal armor, but damn, that IL-237 was unlucky to not kill off that Churchill 5. Now the Spitfire coming in, potentially for another kill. Shaun's going to try and micro that to stop it getting killed. Try and mess with the align time of the Spitfire. Does manage to do so. Nice evasive maneuver there from Shaun. And I guess he's going to look to try and get that out of there. But Spitfire's going to have plenty of time to get back on it if he doesn't evac almost immediately. Comes in for the head-on. Spitfire gets the kill. So these infantry have managed to push back up onto the hill. Shaun cleaning out some of the rifles. Strafniki trying their best. T-34E. Line of sight is hampered at the moment. Needs to push up a little bit further. Oh, here comes a strafe from the Spitfire now onto the Maxim. Shaun have just been surrounded on the bottom side. And things are really just not looking good for Shaun. 1 minute and 30 seconds left. I don't think there's any real way for him to invest enough to take back the bottom side of this map now. This rifle squad going to go through for the 18-6. There is a KV-8 85 on the way. But that's too little too late. And the M15, it's pushing forwards. It's going to be looking for some infantry kills here. With the 2 50 cals as well, it will make short work of any infantry squad. Does take back that flag briefly. But I think the early engagements just won the day for Nilla. And as I mentioned at the start, I think it's important to note that this might not have worked out so well against an Axis division. But against a Soviet division, the 15th Infantry, their rifles seem to outvalue a lot of the early game Soviet infantry quite a bit from that game alone. Of course, we probably need a better sort of sample size in order to make that assumption really, but that's what it seemed like to me, and almost an ace up Nilla's sleeve to take care of Shaun in an allied versus allied matchup. So nicely done by Nilla. 23 minutes 38 seconds and 2,565 kills to 1,425 losses. That is a very decisive kill loss, and I think it just goes to show by the sheer amount of infantry that was left on the map for Nilla at the end of that. Those rifles really just getting so much value, and I guess if we jump into the kills we'll see that. So rifles killing 2 flamer squads and a Strafniki. Bear in mind a rifle squad costs 20 points, and that is 2 15-point flamer squads and a 40-point infantry squad. So that paid itself off 3 times over. The sniper getting the 45mm and Ognemachiki. The sniper was more important for just pinning the units and allowing the rifles to get value. But the Ognemachiki there, Maxim, Gavardi DP, again, like another 70 points for those rifles. Here, Ognemachiki, Maxim, 2 Gavardi DP, that's like over 100 points for a rifle squad. 5 times over it paid itself off. Sniper there, again, used really well to back up the infantry. Nice use of this off-map. It basically fired like so slowly that it just kept Shaun's infantry pinned very, very much on that hill as they were trying to push up. The Dushka's very questionable from Shaun, but we'll get to that from when we go to his losses. Churchill 5, killing those Maxims. The Churchill 5s were very, very important in this matchup as well, especially for controlling the open ground on the bottom side. I think Nilla did a great job of not over-investing in that bottom side, but having just enough to gain ground, whilst kind of beating Shaun completely on the top side of the map. Nice use of the 17-pounder, cleaned up the T-34Es when they became a problem. Shaun definitely identified the lack of infantry AT that the 15th have, and decided to bring in the T-34Es, but by that point, Nilla had started to bring in the AT guns. They were there just in time. I think maybe a more armoured start from Shaun would have been preferable in this matchup, quite simply because of the lack of infantry AT. You can get right on top of those rifles and there is nothing they can do. And with the leaders that Nilla was using as well, no Piats to be seen. The only real Piats that you can get are either the Piat squads themselves, which aren't really great value, or the scouts with Piat, which come with the 2-inch mortar carriers potentially, which are really nice. Like, I personally think they're very, very good. So that would be one way to deal with Shaun's armor if Shaun did use armor, but he didn't. Anyway, it all comes down to the start, I think, in this match, and just how badly it fell in favor of Nilla for Shaun. The 6-pounder there, killing the T-34 and KV-1E, very nice indeed. The 6-pounders can be really, really efficient. The Spitfire managing to shoot down the IL-237 was nice. Managed to see 2 of those get shot down. See the Typhoon. That did kill a KV-85 and the T-34. Was that on the bottom side potentially? I'm not sure. We must have missed those strikes. Anyway, in terms of losses, the Maxim looks like it held its own on the bottom side. T-34E also getting a kill onto a Churchill is pretty good. IL-237 cleaning up the Crocodile is also very nice. So yeah, the T-34 is doing well, whilst most of the infantry really not. The Sturmovniki Rocks getting plenty of kills, but they're only good in certain situations and at very close range because they only have submachine guns and flamers, which is all like 100-meter range engagement. So any sort of, like, that's why the town was so easy for Nilla to control, because the rifles with the 3-star veterancy are just like so, they get so much value. Kind of like we've seen Nilla do in the past with the Strelki DP that are 3-star veterancy. And we see the Gavardia DP with 3-star veterancy, but the difference between Strelki DP and Gavardia DP is the Gavardia DP have Mozins, they don't have SVTs, and the SVTs make all the difference in those mid-range engagements. So there we go. Nilla coming out with an unorthodox 15th Scots. Well, in my eyes, I don't know if that's a common build in a 1v1, but either way, nicely done. Trumps the balanced 26th Guards rifles. That is not something that I expected to be saying. But yeah, lovely stuff indeed. And that means Nilla, congratulations to him, moves on to the final to face off against whoever wins the other semi-final that I'll be covering next, which is going to be Gonzo versus ZZ. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.